If I get through this, I'm going to grill a whole blood ox and eat the entire thing myself.
Got anything to smoke or eat?
Shut up.
6 hours. And nothing to eat but the swill we hand out free.
It's blood ox stew tonight. Starving.
The soup is only for the workers and their families. Something tells me you're not one of them.
I'm hungry.
In all the Dishonored games, food represents one way to replenish your health bar without having to use a healing potion. It also gives you a satisfying sound effect. But the types of foods available in various locations can also reveal something of the environment, culture, and attitudes of the peoples of the Isles. Some food can be eaten by the player, some appears but cannot, and some is only referred to. Here is a survey of some of the different food and drink found throughout the world of Dishonored. As the political and industrial capital of Bristol, Dunwall offers a wide assortment of foods, both edible by the player and otherwise. As mentioned in the Peoples of the Isles video, Bristolians favor hearty, filling foods such as fish stews, sheep pies, dark bread, roasted meats, and beer. This is reflected in the lootable power-ups found all over each mission. The first bit of food we come across in the game, other than Campbell's cider, is a loaf of dark bread concealing the note and key to our cell. Looting ryegrass yields coin, so rye bread is likely valued highly. But the majority of the food power-ups consist of canned, processed products, brined hagfish, potted whale meat, and jellied eel, which are found even in dumpsters. Hagfish infest the waters of the Wren Haven, attacking the player without hesitation. In our world, hagfish are a real species, but they look very different, and are probably not something you'd want to eat. While escaping the sewers, we come across a hermit's hideout, and his last note mentions his grandmother's hagfish stew to keep the smell away. Tins of brined hagfish are found everywhere, and make up a large portion of the civilian diet. Jellied eel, produced by the Pratchett warehouse, is also common. This is a real traditional dish native to, no surprise, England. Chopped eel is boiled, releasing collagen, the water reduced, and when cooled, the collagen solidifies into gelatin. Debakva brand potted whale meat is another canned product. This one's a bit suspicious. It's clearly labeled Product of Tivia, but there are whale slaughterhouses all over Dunwall. We see butchers harvesting racks of whale meat, so why import it from Tivia? There may be some shenanigans going on here, similar to in our world where bottles labeled Italian extra virgin olive oil end up really being cheap canola oil. We know that Tivian culture blends survivalism and refinement, and simple whale meat expertly prepared might fit well into this. Selling cans of supposedly Tivian whale might be an attempt to cash in on this reputation. The tin's full ingredients are 80% whale meat, tomato, garlic, vegetable oil, and mustard. These tinned foods are probably not the healthiest option in a world that almost certainly lacks a Food and Drug Safety Agency, but might be the best bet for keeping poor commoners alive. During the Rat Plague, food scarcity led to riots in the Taylors district, which were brutally put down by Hiram Burroughs. Even Dunwall Tower has tinned emergency rations. Blue-jawed hagfish eggs appear rarely in the game, and are likely an expensive delicacy similar to Caspian beluga sturgeon caviar. Some suspect river crust is used to counterfeit them.
There were no blue-jawed hagfish. River crust is more likely.
Among the aristocracy, pickled red-jawed hagfish eyes are favored. Bristol is a large producer of apples.
My apple! Who do you think you are?
Never gets old.
We also find apricot tartlets in various places, the only sweet dessert we can actually eat. Foreign foods are found throughout. Apples also come from Morley and pears from Tivia, which are apparently tasty enough that people will eat them rotten. From Serkonan you find grapes as well as blood sausage. This is another real-world traditional food that some enjoy and others find less than palatable. Finally, there's the humble rat skewer. Who exactly is skinning and cooking these rats all over Dunwall is a mystery, but it seems odd that in the middle of a rat plague, people would eat the very animal carrying it. Dr. Galvani posits that the plague is actually carried by mites on the rats rather than the rats themselves, so the meat might in fact be safe. If the rats are carriers, it might be that cooking the meat over open fire is enough to kill the bacteria that cause the disease. Though not a food item, medicinal herbs can be looted for coin, and the label indicates it's made of nettle seeds. Nettles in our world have been used for thousands of years to treat allergies, inflammation, and digestive issues. The game files also include a model for a bottle of vinegar, which was not used. In addition to the foods the player can eat for health, other foods appear or are mentioned. The boil party is probably the most lavish display, and on the main table we see a fine spread. It's dominated by a large catfish, cooked whole and sliced open for guests to serve themselves. Such giant catfish exist in our world, such as the Wells catfish, which this seems to resemble. There's also whole roast hare, large enough that these are likely bred and raised rather than wild caught, though they aren't as large as their Serkonan counterparts. The table also offers various fruits and vegetables. Gristol contains most of the arable land in the Empire, so agricultural products like potatoes and carrots appear. The main desserts are large jello molds in various colors and presumably flavors. These are destructible, sending jelly splattering all over nearby guests. In the basement, kitchen maids prepare these delicacies amid an infestation of rats underfoot, so the presentation may not be as safe to eat as it appears. At the Hound Pits pub, owned by Admiral Havelock, a menu is posted outside the building. Before closing due to the plague, it offered dark bread, brined hagfish, blood sausage, and grilled whale, as well as pickled quail eggs and jellied eel. Fresh, not canned. At the Rothwild slaughterhouse, the canteen offers a hearty selection. Slaughtering whales is hungry work after all. Salted potatoes with Serkonan spices, mushroom bread, fresh eel stew with onions and turnips, fried blood ox joints, and slow-cooked gazelle shank are all available. No haggling on prices, though. Interesting that whale meat doesn't appear on the menu. They're probably sick of it from being surrounded by it all day. We see mounted gazelle and blood ox heads in almost every well-to-do home. Gazelles are native to Serkonos but have been domesticated in Gristol, but blood ox is the main source of agricultural meat. Blood ox stew is highly favored and is considered a special treat among the working class across the Empire. There are two separate streets in Dunwall named, confusingly, Blood Ox Way and Ox Blood Way. Jellied ox tongue is renowned in Morley. Eels are also fished in Morley, and in Alba they believe they're messengers of the dead. During their festival of churners, people toss food to eels in hopes of feeding their lost loved ones. Dead eels are considered a bad omen by fishermen and are always tossed back. Like Gristolians, Morleyans favor roasted meats and hearty stews, and the mutton stew at the Inn on the Rock in Kilkenny is said to be the best in the Isles. Excellent cheese also comes from this city. There are several bone charms related to food, mainly the Healthy Appetite series that grant additional health regeneration upon eating. Gutter Feast allows one to eat white rats to regain mana. Speaking of the rats, from their perspective, the most prolific food in the game is, well, in contrast to Gristol, Serkonans prefer spicier, more aromatic fare. The island is famous for its cuisine, especially in Colero, and visitors often take recipes back home with them, along with the fashions and sensual dances. The influx of Morleyans seeking work over the years has also led to a fusion of food traditions. In Carnakan, we also find whole roast hare. Aramis Stilton, a native of Morley, has his kitchen staff preparing both roast hare and stew. In addition to the same canned foods found in Dishonored 1, we find more fresh fruits and multiple types of seafood beyond your standard hagfish. Sokolov mentions lemons stored aboard ships, which are almost certainly Serkonan. Location-specific foods are more prevalent, such as Serkonan plantains, figs and peaches from Bistilian, and Sagunto flatbread, indicating local pride in signature items, though the flatbread isn't all that flat. Foods that reappear are the apricot tartlet, dark bread, Gristol and Morley apples, jellied eel, Tivian pears, and Serkonan grapes, both red and white. Colero produces the finest cigars as well. Produce from Gristol we can now eat include carrots, potatoes, and lettuce. The venerable rat skewer is now joined by dried bow lizard. Interestingly, in Dishonored 2, rotten food does not restore health, unless a healthy appetite bone charm is used. Though not encountered in the game, blue-jawed hagfish eggs are produced in Carnakan, and Dolores Michaels instructs her bank staff to provide some for a favored client. Santiago Fisheries is the major producer, owning a large portion of the Carnakan Bay coast. They also produce banded crab and fermented red shark.
Here in Carnakan, we like it very fermented.
Though fewer in number than in Dunwall, we see several whaling ships in Carnakan Bay, so we know there are slaughterhouses and butchers producing whale meat. We see multiple workers preparing fish at the Campesita docks, as well as in kitchens throughout the city. The Lazarillo brand is known for more exotic delicacies, such as pickled salamander and candied beetles. These products do not appear in the game, but illustrations were created for them. Advertisements appear for sweeter treats like Resino Rosewater Jelly. This is a real-world product made from rosewater, sugar, and gelatin or agar, a polysaccharide derived from algae. According to the novel The Corroded Man, Serkonos is also known for honey cakes and strong coffee with sweetened goat's milk. Anton Sokolov mentions making mulberry cake on the dreadful whale from his own recipe using Tivian spices. As in Dunwall, gazelle and blood ox heads adorn many walls, likely provided by Brozenar taxidermy. Gazelles are native to Serkonos, and it was a wooden gazelle ornament that Billy Lurk used to kill Radana Sabel by driving its horn into his eye. In the Dust District, miners advocate Lucia Pastor runs a small soup kitchen for workers and their families. What type of soup is not clear, but it's likely fish-based with carrots and potatoes added. Although most farmland in the Empire is in Gristol, Serkonos contains its share as well. Bloodflies spend the latter part of their life cycle as flightless beetles who eat crop pests, so eradicating them entirely would be disastrous to Serkonan agriculture. At the Grand Palace, a feast of most of the foods we've seen thus far is laid out, but by the time we arrive, the party has devolved into a mess. Recipes are rare in the game, but one we do see is for hagfish dumplings in the Fishmonger's Cookbook, found just outside the infested house near the Campesita docks. It reveals that river crust is used to make briny stock, so clearly the creature isn't completely poisonous. The recipe calls for boiling the dumplings, then baking them, covered with butter and cheese and serving with strong beer, which may indicate Morleyan influence. A gaming channel made this recipe in a video, and it seemed to turn out pretty well, though again, not with actual hagfish. Another recipe is for something called sweet tongue, and is intended to soothe a singer's throat and widen their vocal range. Unsurprisingly, it's found in Shanyun's house. It calls for boiling sliced tongues, of what animal it doesn't say, with aromatics and thigh bones, then chilling, skinning and slicing them, and then encasing in aspic, a savory gelatin derived from meat broth. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be making this one anytime soon. Though not food, recipes for antagonistic potions contain burdock root and neem leaves, both real-world plants, along with purple sea slugs. Alongside food, a variety of drinks are found in the game. The most basic, of course, is water, which we can drink from fountains and taps to restore mana if we have the Spirit Water Bone Charm. At the very beginning of the game, we encounter a decanter of cider, which Sokolov uses to distract the eye away from High Overseer Campbell in his portrait. Taking it will cause Sokolov to paint it out of the final product. I did a video making red cider a while back. You can find other bottles of cider throughout the game. It's labeled only as Gristol Cider, while in Dishonored 2 the bottles are Old Paddy's Gristol Cider. Admiral Havelock favors strong ales, and though Potterstead reportedly makes the best, the Hound Pits has many on tap, including a house draft made on site. It also serves mulled cider, sugared wine, absinthe, served in a mouth-blown crystal glass with reservoir, and of course, Dunwall whiskey. Old Dunwall is one of the city's proudest brands, and you can find empty bottles all over the place. It's made, or was before the plague, in the distillery district, which has been taken over by the Bottle Street gang. Previously, it was under control of the Hatter gang. According to the Heart, it tastes like it's distilled from river crust, which probably means it's briny. A similar real-world whiskey might be something like Old Pulteney or Talisker. According to a promotional pamphlet, it's enjoyed by both aristocrats and commoners alike, and is billed as a cultural tradition. It's also aged, which in reality is something that only began in the latter half of the 19th century. There are 2 bottle types found. On one, the label is simple black and white with the Griffin logo on top and RD758 below. It's not clear what this indicates. It could be a year, implying the brand has been around for over 1,000 years, or it could be some kind of registration number. The other bottle is smaller, more elaborate, with illegible text. This could be a more premium product. Wine is also made in or near Dunwall.
Wallace, please breathe 2 bottles of Dunwall Red, never mind which, and fetch a clean glass.
But the best wine comes from Tivia. Most of the arable land in Tivia is devoted to vineyards, and is the island's most prestigious export. The poisoned wine Campbell offers Jeff Kernow is a Tivian Red. Sokolov favors King Street Brandy, a rare and expensive liquor containing a blend of Pandician spices, Morley orchid essence, and a drop of whale oil. According to Piero,
the taste is revolting.
Some sources imply it's made in Dunwall and others Morley, but the wording is vague. I also did a video trying to replicate this product. At the Boyle party, there's an entire fountain of sparkling wine, and you can both get yourself a drink and get one for Miss White, who will reward you with information on the Boyle women. Dishonored 2 introduces a few new drinks. At the Black Pony pub in Dunwall, we first encounter the Gin Sling cocktail, made with gin, sugar, and nutmeg. I did a video making this with both sugar and syrup. It appears several more times in the game in Carnakan. They'll make it hot if you prefer, and if they like you. We see ads for Padilla Pear Soda, which seems favored among the Grand Guard.
What wouldn't I give for a bottle of pear soda?
Orban is a brand of high-proof rum which is flammable, and is often conveniently found near bloodfly nests. We find storage tanks of this rum all over Carnakan. Rivera Fig Wine from Bastilian is also quite popular, and Megan Foster will gift the player a bottle in gratitude for rescuing Sokolov. You can also find jugs of mulberry mead, which the Crone's Hand Saloon claims is homemade. None of these can be drunk, but the bottles can be thrown to distract enemies. Major Bonville is found dead in the Aventa Quarter after being eliminated by Brianna Ashworth. She sent him a bottle of poisoned grappa to thank him for helping track down all guards with knowledge of the events at Stilton's Manor. This liquor is made from pomace, the remains of grapes after wine production. It tastes awful. Of course, the most disgusting liquor of all is the plagued spirit of the Eyeless gang. From the recipe at the Albarca, it's based on potatoes boiled in bull rat's blood with wormwood oil, then fermented for a month with the rat corpse, and then presumably distilled. The final product is sealed in a bottle along with the rat. You can buy this at the Spectre Club, along with whiskey, rum, or
Pear soda, if you're staying sober.
part of what makes the world of Dishonored so immersive are the little bits of world building that bring it to life. The food and drink of the places in the games help evoke the flavor, pun intended, of the real-world locations they take inspiration from, whether a Victorian factory district, an aristocrat's dining room, or a sunny Mediterranean coast. The people we encounter become more than just NPCs with pre-programmed voice lines. They're people with bellies that need filled. And what they fill them with tells us as much about their culture as their art, songs, or literature does. The food we find doesn't just top off our health bar or give us stuff to throw at guards. Like the artwork and the music, they help tell the story without a single word.